Hello, how's it going? I'm Erica. I'm a 4-H educator at the Cornell Cooperative Extension in Shenango County. Today we are going to talk about bats, one of my favorite animals. We actually have 9 different species of bats living in New York State. So we're going to start with a little book about bats and then see some of the bats that live in New York State, and then we'll do a little project at the end. All right? So this book is Zipping, Zapping, Zooming Bats by Anne Earle, and it's illustrated by Henry Cole. When the sun goes down, bats come out to hunt. You have to look quickly to see a bat before it's gone. Many bats hunt insects. And all of the bats in New York State, that's what they eat, is insects, which is great for us. They eat lots of insects. Each night, a bat can chomp half of its own weight in bugs. So if you weighed 60 pounds, that would be like you eating 125 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Wow. Don't be scared if a bat flies past your head. It won't get into your hair. It's probably just catching a juicy mosquito. Bats are terrific hunters. A little brown bat can catch 150 mosquitoes in 15 minutes. The gray bat can gobble 3,000 insects in one night. Bracken Cave in Texas is home to 20 million Mexican free-tailed bats. Together, they munch 250 tons of insects every night. Bats help get rid of insects that bite people. Bats also help zap moths, beetles, and grasshoppers, which are insects that could eat farmers' crops and the food that you and I need. Bats are good hunters because they have a special way of using sound. Bats make high beeping sounds with high frequencies. These sounds are too high-pitched for our ears to hear, but bats can hear things ours can't. The beeps go out from the bats in waves. Can you see those? And the sound waves hit objects around the bat. When sound waves hit another object, they bounce back. The bounce-back sound waves come back to the bat as echoes. The bat can tell by the echoes what kind of insect is near and exactly where it is. The bat can catch it. This is what we call echolocation. I bet a lot of you already knew that. So, the echoes that bounce off a tree sound different from the echoes that bounce off of a bug. So bats use echolocation to hear things that are in their way. They can zoom fast through dark forests and black cave tunnels. If a bat gets into your house, open a door or a window, and the bat will echolocate and hear the opening it can use to fly out. So, bats are also good hunters because they are expert flyers. Their wings are actually different from bird wings. Bat wings have long arm bones with extra long finger bones and a thin skin called a membrane that stretches between the bones. The membrane connects the wing bone to the bat's legs and body. It may also join the tail to the leg. So here's our picture. So there's the bat. You see they have a little thumb, and then these bones in their wing are actually considered finger bones, and here's their tail. So you can see how that compares to a bird. So bat wings are like webbed hands. A flying bat can move its wings much the way you can move your fingers. So take your hand and kind of move your fingers. So that is how a bat's wings work. So we can really move our fingers a lot, most people. And so that's how a bat is able to move its whole body and fly. So a flying bat can move its wings much the way we move our fingers. This means a bat can quickly change the shape of its wings. If a bug dodges away, the bat can zigzag fast and chase it. A bat can catch a flying insect in its wing and flip it into its tail membrane and then scoop it into its mouth. So that's pretty neat. Bats have hooked claws on their toes and thumbs. The darker picture, they are roosting. So, when bats sleep or clean themselves, they hang themselves upside down by their toe claws, and they use their claws to move around on their roosts, to comb their fur, and to clean their ears. Bats keep themselves as clean as cats by using both their tongue and their claws. So these ones are roosting up near the bells, so maybe they're in a church. Because bats fly at night, many people are scared of them. Sometimes people tell scary stories about vampires that can change into bats. Dracula and other vampires are not real. Bats fly at night because that is when they can find their favorite meal, which is what? Insects. So think of all those mosquitoes that like to bite. Bats eat a lot of those every night. In winter, many bats hibernate. This means that the bats sleep deeply. While bats are hibernating, their breathing slows down and their heart rate drops from 900 to 20 beats in a minute. So instead of 900 beats a minute, they have 20 beats in a minute. Hibernating bats need less energy to stay alive. Bats get ready for hibernation by stuffing themselves full of insects, especially in the last weeks of warm weather. Their bodies store extra food as fat, and this fat will be their food throughout the winter. Sometimes when people explore caves, they kill bats by accident. If you went into a cave where bats were hibernating, you would wake them up. Then they would fly to another part of the cave. Each time that happens, the bats use up about a month's supply of fat. If they use up too much stored food, they will starve before spring when they can go hunt for insects again. If you go into a cave in June or July, be sure to look for baby bats. Do you know what baby bats are called? They're called pups. So if you do see pups, never touch or bother them. Never touch or bother any bat. Leave quickly and quietly. So bats are mammals. They are the only flying animals that nurse their babies. So this means that the mothers make milk to feed their babies. And the bat pups hang together in large groups called nurseries. Each mother returns to feed her pup at least 2 times during the night, and the pup needs their mother's milk to survive. If you disturb a nursery cave, the frightened mothers may leave and the pups will starve. Besides disturbing caves, people harm bats by destroying their homes. People close off their attics and tear down old barns. They seal off empty mines and cut down forests where bats like to live. Several kinds of bats are now in danger of dying out. In some places, there aren't even enough bats left to keep down the number of insect pests. Farmers end up losing crops, and mosquitoes feast on us. People can use poisons to kill bugs, but poisons can be dangerous to humans or other animals and plants. So, there are many ways that people can act to help bats. Some people put up bat houses in their backyards to attract bats. And some public parks have bat houses. And other groups that want to protect the bats in the winter when they go into their caves to hibernate might put up blocks across the cave so that people can't get in there in the wintertime and disturb them. So if a bat flies past you, listen and maybe you can hear the soft flutter of their wings. Even if you can't, you'll know that the bat heard you. Okay, that's the end of our book. Zipping, zapping, zooming bats. In New York State, we have 9 different bats. So 6 of those species of bats are called cave bats because when they go to hibernate, they hibernate in caves. So here are our cave bats. So what's my first one here? So here we have the northern bat. Then we have the little brown bat in the middle and the Indiana bat. So these first 2 are most commonly seen by people, but especially the little brown bat. And the little brown bat is actually our most common species of bat in New York State. So our other 3 that are cave bats, we have the eastern pipistrelle, the big brown bat, and our small-footed bat. So this little guy weighs less than a nickel. He kind of has a little raccoon mask on his face there. So our tree bats, even though the cave bats in the summertime and the springtime can live under bark of trees and be in forests, the tree bats are called tree bats because that's where they are year-round. They do not hibernate in caves. So here are the tree bats that we have in New York State. Our first one is the red bat. Then we have the hoary bat, which is actually our biggest bat. And then the silver-haired bat. So the hoary bat can be 3.5 inches long, and it has a 16-inch wingspan. So none of the bats are huge. Most of them are about 2 to 2.5 inches tall, and they have a wingspan between 10 inches. So the wingspan is this way when they open up their wings, and how tall they are, just the top of their head down to their feet. All right, so that was some information about bats. Please join me in making our little bat activity.